Teotihuacan. The great and mysterious Teotihuacan. When the Spanish first came upon the ruins of Teotihuacan in the 1700s, they were amazed. People living in the area told Spanish explorers it was built by a race of giants who came from the heavens long ago. Looking around, one might believe that was true. The Pyramid of the Sun is the third largest ancient pyramid in the world. Close by, the Pyramid of the Moon is not much smaller. To this day, people stand before the pyramid and wonder who built them. The answer is a mystery. Built to impress. Teotihuacan rulers demanded huge projects. Workers moved the San Juan River in order to build the massive pyramids. The plazas were large enough to hold tens of thousands of citizens, with room for visitors. The population was between 1 and 200,000 people. In its day, Teotihuacan was the largest city in the Americas and one of the largest on Earth. The vast city covered 20 square kilometers, and its influence reached all the way into what is now Honduras. Today, Teotihuacan is one of the most studied and visited sites in Mexico. Digging up the past, we call the people who built the city Teotihuacanos. The name comes from the Aztecs, a people who came upon it long after the Teotihuacans were gone. We do not know what the Teotihuacanos called themselves or their city. We do not know what language they spoke, where they came from, or the names of any of their powerful rulers. What we do know comes from the archaeologists. They continue to dig around the buildings to find artifacts that teach us about the people who made them. Archaeologists tell us that when the first settlers arrived around 400 BC, they found two very important resources, water and good soil. Teotihuacan is in a flat basin surrounded by mountains. Inside the basin is good soil for farming. Enough water tumbles down the mountains for people to use for their professional needs and to grow their crops. There are another resource nearby, obsidian. This volcanic rock was highly valued for making sharp knives, as well as deadly spearheads and arrowheads. Merchants from Teotihuacan most likely traded their obsidian with people many hundreds of miles away. In the first few hundred years, Teotihuacan grew but slowly. Then, in the 1st century CE, a huge volcanic explosion nearby caused people to flee by the tens of thousands. Evidence suggests that many came to Teotihuacan. In 320 CE, another nearby volcano blew, and more people came. All these new people were immigrants, and had their own language and religions. They were welcome, and their arrival brought big changes to Teotihuacan. Immigrants making the city grow. With the population growing, more housing was needed. The rulers carefully planned the city first, then ordered farmers to move their fields farther away. Then they ordered about 2,000 brand new apartment buildings. When archaeologists found the first one, they thought they had discovered a palace. These apartments were unlike any others in the world. The spaces were large, especially built of stone, and painted with beautiful murals. Inside each building were courtyards, porches, kitchens, a temple, and 50 more rooms. 50 or more rooms that housed between 60 and 100 people. They brought in fresh water from a river, and the drains took used water away. People lived well in Teotihuacan. Clues from the artifacts and murals tell us that immigrants from ethnic neighbors where they made traditional pottery and other items. They also brought goods from their homelands. The Maya brought jade, cacao, for making chocolate, and prize feathers for headdress. Immigrants from the Gulf Coast brought dried fish, salt, and beautiful seashells. Others from the East brought cotton that they wove into cloth, and they sewed into fine clothing. Immigrant neighbors made Teotihuacan a center of all sorts of expensive goods. The rulers also ordered older buildings rebuilt to match their new plan. Every structure in the city had to line up in the grid. There are exactly 15.5 degrees east of true north. This was an alignment. The pyramid of the sun faces the point of the horizon when the sun sets on August 13. Many cultures believe the world was formed on that day. Whether that's true is a mystery. We do know that Teotihuacan was one of the most highly planned cities in the world. Archaeologists dig deeper. In 1971, a cave was discovered under the Pyramid of the Sun that was used as a shrine. Evidence suggests that the caves were sacred to the people of Teotihuacan, who may have believed that gods were born in the caves and worked there to make the world we live in. The name Teotihuacan means place where the gods were born. Maybe the pyramid was built to honor the site of the sacred cave underneath. When archaeologists began to dig within the Pyramid of the Moon, they found burials of people with precious objects of jade and obsidian. The remains of animals such as pumas, rattlesnake, eagles, a wolf, a falcon, and an eagle were found too. Experts think that the people and the animals were killed as offerings to the gods. The people believed that by doing this, the gods would bring rain for crops and power to the city's rulers. Collapse. The many warriors who protected Teotihuacan were strong and dressed as deadly animals. However, they could not protect Teotihuacan from destruction, or, as some evidence suggests, there were among who attacked and burned the temples and smashed the statues. We do not know. What we know is that a drought caused food shortages, and the people began to leave the city. Then, after centuries of wealth and power, Teotihuacan fell. People fled, and the pyramids became overgrown with weeds, and the greatest city of the Americas became a ruin. Extreme climbs and long walls. Imagine walking up the avenue of death. Everything around the visitors is designed to make them feel small, and the design works as well today, as it must have almost 2,000 years ago. When people finally reach the Pyramid of the Sun, they have traveled the steepest steps they have ever climbed, all 248 of them, to experience the thrilling view of the top. For a shorter walk and no stairs, visitors can go to the museum and walk on the glass floor over the scale model of the whole site, pyramids and all. In 1987, Teotihuacan was named an important world site by UNESCO, an organization that helps protect it. Even so, the many visitors along the with the wind and the rain continue to erode the structures, but the greatest threat to the site today may be developers or builders. In 2004, one developer received permission to build just outside the park. By law, the company had to report any artifacts dug up during the construction, but it didn't. Instead, they tracked the priceless artifacts to the dump because that was fast and easier. Their actions led to years of investigation. Discoveries keep coming. There is much to see and explore at this ancient place. In 2003, archaeologist Rio Gomez visited the Teotihuacan during a heavy rainstorm. The rain was a life-changer to Gomez. It was in the early morning when he arrived to find a small single in front of the temple and the feathered serpent. To explore the hole, he tied a rope around his waist, and several people lowered him deep into the darkness far below. Gomez discovered a tunnel that had been sealed 1,800 years ago. It was a discovery of a lifetime. Today, Gomez and his team are excavating the tunnel, inching their way toward its end under the temple. So far, they have dug up 75,000 artifacts. Who knows what they will discover at the tunnel's end?